bugs. Hey, my Oak Island fishing friends. If you've ever seen me out on the Davis Canal fishing, you've seen me in the kayak, but you haven't really seen the kayak. You've seen my feet and probably the bottom of the kayak. You've seen me fishing and pulling in with a little pink rod, but you've never seen the kayak. Well, guess what, friends? You weren't missing out on anything. This is not very impressive. But today, we're going to upgrade to something that's a little bit more fancy. We're going to check that out. Hey, and I've got some really exciting news about the rec center and our upcoming surf fishing classes we're doing this summer. Plus, exciting news about someone who's going to be showing some real love and support for our surf fishing classes. So you're going to check that out too. Let's go. All right, before we jump into things, last time we put out a video, we called it Ridiculousness, and I showed you the most ridiculous things that can happen fishing on Oak Island, and I asked you to vote, and this was the winner by far, my best friend Pelican, who just wouldn't leave me alone. Hey, I'll put a link above if you want to see the other ridiculous things that can happen here on Oak Island. But for now, for some good news, we are going to be offering fishing classes, again, surf fishing classes, at the rec center. So you can go to oakisland.recdesk.com, click on programs, and you can sign up for one of the classes. Now, there are two parts to the classes. There's the in-school classes where we talk about baits and when to fish and gear and everything you need to know to get out there fishing in the surf. And the second half of the class, we actually go out fishing in the surf. We bring the bait, you just bring your rod and reel, and if you don't have a rod and reel, you can borrow one from us, and we catch fish like this ginormous pompano right here. How can you go wrong with that? Hey, you know what? When you're catching fish, you're having a good time, and we always catch fish out there. So check it out. We're offering basically every month starting this month in May, and then we're offering one each month until November. So there's about 7 you can choose from if you're interested in coming along. And you might even get out here and catch some nice whiting, and who knows, you might even catch a shark. It happens. Now, even better news than these exciting surf fishing classes is we have sort of like a sponsor. Dutchmans Creek Bait and Tackle has decided that they want to help us out, and they're going to sort of sponsor us, and we haven't really worked out the details of what that's going to be, but I'm thinking maybe there could be door prizes or maybe a discount. We're working it out right now, but I'm so happy to have them because the people over there are so great. Like, they've always helped me out. They fixed my reels, they fixed my rods. The first time I went there, they actually sat down with me in the back. The guy sat down with me in the back and made a rig for me and just gave it to me. And I mean, that's the kind of service you get from these people. So I'm really happy. And last time I was there, I bought some Gulp, and I told you it glowed in the dark. So I wanted to show you that it really does glow in the dark. So here it is with the lights on, and now I turn the lights off, and look at these things. Fish like glow in the dark stuff because glow in the dark stuff is cool. Who wouldn't like it? I haven't caught a fish on them yet, but this is what I came here to tell you about. For my anniversary, my wife got me, because she knows the little kayak I have is awful small and ridiculous, this Colorado XT. This is an inflatable pontoon boat, and I have just built it here at this moment right here, and just getting it set up and have it on the wheel right there. And I'm going to wheel this bad boy down to the dock and see if I can put it in the water. Now, I did put a trolling motor on it, which means I found out I have to have it registered. So I think it's only $35, so that wasn't too bad to get it registered, and I've got to get the numbers and put them on there. But that is one thing you do have to do if you have a trolling motor on a kayak even. Of course, you have to have your boat registered if you have a regular, motorboat. But even with a kayak like this, even with electronic trolling motor. Now, I made some mistakes. Number one, I just had that big anchor I put on the back there. It was about 20 pounds, I think. And I had this big battery, which I had to put on there for the trolling engine. And then I put the trolling engine on, and all this was in the back. So that was a mistake, and I'm going to have to make a modification to fix that, and I will show you why that was a mistake. But first, watch me gracefully figure out how to get into this thing, because the seat's a little further away from the dock than the kayak would be, and I just decided I'm just going to go for it. And if I fall in the water, at least I've got my personal flotation device, and I almost did. I'm putting on. I think I'm making fun of myself. Yeah, I'm like, my neighbor's making fun of me, and I'm like, hey, you try it. But I embarrassingly get into the seat and I take it for a ride. Now, with all that weight in the back, and I didn't have the pontoons inflated enough, I believe, as well. You will see the problem right here. Look how high the front. I felt like I was sitting at like a 45-degree angle. If I sat up, it wasn't too bad, but if I leaned back, it was like, this is not gonna work, especially if I lean back to work the trolling motor. So but you know what, I'm going out fishing in it anyway. I don't care. So I thought I'd get some black drum because I'm going to be in the canal. So I pulled up the crab trap, and I got this crab, and I got him to volunteer to be bait. And he was not happy about it. I can tell you that right here. He was not having it, but unfortunately, all good things. Maybe I should put a discretion here. Discretion advised. This could get graphic in about a minute because he is coming to his demise. All right, here. What I do is I cut the crab in half, and because I'm going out in the canal, I would use a half piece if I was going in the surf for bigger fish, but since I'm in the canal, they're not that big. I'm going to quarter it, and I might even break that into smaller pieces when I get out there. But just so I have something to go with right here, I'm going to quarter it. So I take the top piece of the shell and the legs and anything I'm not going to use for bait, and I put them in this chum bag here, which I purchased, and easily fills it up right here. And the idea behind it was I could fill this up, and I could just dangle it off the side, and maybe the smell of the crab there would attract some black drum. I put a little bit of maybe a 3-ounce weight in the bottom of it so it would sink to the bottom, and I just cinched down the top, and I threw it out there. Unfortunately, it did not work attracting black drum as I wished it would have, but it did a great job of attracting other fish, including this silver perch. Now, I don't mind silver perch. If you can catch them big enough, you can actually have a nice little fish fry. But it wasn't what I was looking for today, so he's going back in. And then I just started catching croaker after croaker. Now, they weren't terribly bad. This one's kind of small here, but in the size range, they weren't terribly bad. The ones in the surf recently have been terrible. I caught a couple I think I could put in a fish tank, but these were okay, and they were one after another. You can watch this. I got this guy, and by the time I have the other rod going, look at it bend right there. See it going? By the time I got that guy off, the other rod, I already had one on the other line. And this guy gave a little fight, and I was thinking, hey, this might be a little black drum. Now, one of the things I like about this boat is that it has that space in front, which you might think it's kind of weird because like an alligator could come up and bite my legs off, but it's easy to bring the fish right in like that and not have to reach over to the side or anything. And I measured this guy, and he was like 10 inches, and that's a nice size croaker right there. But I don't like croaker because I find they're all head and not a whole lot of body. So I'm going to let him go, and I'm going to go out and get some lunch with Kim. We decided to go to Provisions. Now, this Provisions is located at Holden Beach. We had some errands to run, so we were down there anyway. And it's really nice because they have parking for boats if you want to dock and dine. And they have this nice seating area downstairs, but mostly you're eating upstairs. And it's kind of an open room. We had just gotten there. They had just opened. They hadn't even opened yet. We were waiting for them to open. But we could look at the scenic Holden Beach area there, the ICW. When you go inside, you order. There's a menu board at the top, and you just basically look at it, and you decide what you want to eat, and they take down your order, and then there's some beer behind you can grab, or soda you can grab behind you, and then they just write down the order, and they don't charge you then, which is kind of interesting, but they'll take down your name, and then you go sit down, and then they'll bring you the food. They got this really nice bar. They've got like license plates all over the place, dollar bills all stapled to the ceiling, but look at this room, beautiful view, all opened up, airy, light, and just an overall nice atmosphere to have lunch, you know? And the food isn't terrible either. Now, it's nothing fancy. You're not getting china plates or anything. And I got the fish sandwich, and it came with a salad, and Kim got this crab cake, which she said was really, really good. Now, like I said, you're not getting fancy china. It's a little paper plate, but we had a good lunch. So then I got back to my Colorado XT, and I made some modifications. First, I put the battery up front. So I had, the cords were long enough they could reach for it. Second, I changed that big heavy anchor I had to just this little light anchor. It always held my kayak down, so I figured it would hold this guy too. And the third is I moved the seat forward. I moved it up a couple of inches, really. So now more of my weight would be up front. The battery weight would be up front, and there wouldn't be so much weight in the back. And that worked. So I'm not up at a 45-degree angle. But I was still catching croaker. Actually, this is a spot right here, not a croaker. And if you can catch enough spot, you can have a great fish fry too. Matter of fact, spot and silver perch would be great if you caught a bunch of them. You can tell it's a spot because he's got a little spot. But you got to hold on to him because if you don't, they fall in the water. So then I actually got the targeted species. I got a black drum. And this is a very small little black drum here. But what I know is that if you catch one black drum, you're going to catch another. Now, usually fish will school up in, around the same size. So if you catch an 8-inch black drum like this guy probably was, you'll probably catch another 8-inch black drum. But I'm like, I'm sticking here and I'm going to stick with this spot. And I did the right thing, because this next guy was giving my little pink rod a tug for its money right there. And I just love when I'm pulling on it and I'm trying to bring the fish up, and the fish decides, no, you know what? I'm going to bring your rod into the water, and your tips just goes down. You're fighting a good fish at that point. So, and it's just nice, again, to have that open space in the front, because I saw the color and I knew I could bring that fish right up front. So I just reached down, grabbed the net, and kind of just pull him right in, directly into it. He was tiring out by that point, and then just pull him right up. And that's a really nice feature, I think, of this boat. So I get him up, and the next nice feature of this boat is right on the side there. It has built-in measuring stick. So I'm going to show that to you. I just prop him down here on the side in this little netting so he doesn't fall out. And you can see he was 16 inches. No, that's not true. I pushed him up all the way up, 14 inches. So right on the line there, and I don't want to keep a fish right on the line. He can swim away. I'll get him when he comes back a little bit bigger. And I knew if I caught one, there was a good chance I catch another one, so I kept fishing there, and right away I got another one, and another big puller too. Like I said, they swim in schools about the same size, so this one was coming up about the same size, about 14 inches, and again bringing him right into the net right in front. So this was a successful mission. This Colorado XT is a really fun little way to travel around, and not having to paddle, which has been the best part. So if you're looking to get one, it might be a little investment you want to get into. You can get out there, and I'm just going to have to be careful of the oyster bars. Let's go fishing.